Welcome everybody tonight to Strangest Species. We're back again. How you doing, Anthony?
Doing good.
Good. How's life treating you?
Better now that there's less work to do in the basement.
Yeah, you tired?
Yes, I am.
What's been going on down there?
Oh, all sorts of things. Just getting ready for the flooring and having the whole thing empty and painted and prepped to, any of the things that you'd want to do when you don't have flooring in your space.
Yeah, it's been a crazy weekend for us prepping this basement to get flooring. Lots of painting, lots of drywall touch-ups, lots of prepping doors, lots of all sorts of things. So that's what we've been up to.
Mm-hmm.
But
not to mention it's quarterly taxes and all the other fun stuff.
Lots of good things.
But
so
only
welcome.
one more week of soccer.
This is true.
Well, until the next phase.
One more week for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then life will calm down a little bit, at least on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good. So, welcome everybody. I was looking at our stats just a few minutes ago. I haven't done that in a while. Guess how many different countries we have listeners in?
I don't even remember how many it was officially before, but I'm going to say 18.
It's close. 31.
Whoa. That's way more than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
I know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know.
31 countries?
Yeah.
Wow.
31 different places.
Well, welcome, whoever you are and wherever you are.
The majority are the United States. Second place is Canada. Third is Australia. Then the United Kingdom. Then New Zealand. And then we go Germany, Vietnam, Sweden, Russia, France, Norway, India, Netherlands, Denmark, Ireland, Austria, Belgium, Switzerland, Slovenia, Philippines, South Korea, Portugal, Iran, UAE, United Arab Emirates, Kazakhstan, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Senegal, South Africa, Thailand, and the Bahamas.
Nice.
I would like to do our next episode from the Bahamas.
I mean, yes. Actually, the fall here is very beautiful.
It is true. It's really nice here.
Yeah, I like it.
A couple months from now, I'd like to be in the Bahamas. How about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Sounds good.
Take a little break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we got anything crazy going on in life to report. No new neighbors pooping in the roads.
No raccoons.
No raccoons. No running naked in the forests.
We did get 2 new chickens.
We did get 2 chickens.
And they're doing very well.
To replace 2 of the 3 that were slaughtered.
Yep. Our friend was gracious enough to give us some before winter because she ends up having too many during the summer. So it was kind of very nice of her to do that.
It was nice. We also got 2 kittens. I don't know if we ever said that.
I think we did.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if they're being successful mousers or not for all the chicken food, but I guess we shall see.
I haven't seen a mouse, though.
We have seen one.
You've seen, that's right.
And the cat did get one, but Lincoln aided and abetted. So it came from the lawnmower outside, which is not anywhere near like our garage or anything. And then we put the lawnmower in the garage. And then Lincoln discovered, like, Mom, there's a mouse. I think I got trapped, like realizing, oh, there's cats. So then Lincoln moved the lawnmower and the cat saw it. But they're little. So I just don't know if like a 3-month, I guess they're maybe 3.5 months now, like old kittens should be able to manhandle a full-on mouse. But she bit it and then it got it free and then she bit it and then it got free. And then it got free after quite the wrestle and went underneath the chicken coop or the doghouse or something. So I'm hoping that they're doing their job and kind of getting more familiar with.
Well, I haven't seen any.
Yeah,
I
no.
used to definitely run into them.
We'd see them a lot more running out in the garden and on the hill, you know. So, but yeah, I haven't seen any like that.
But I also haven't seen any corpses of mice.
Yeah, and I don't really know if cats eat the whole mouse or not. I mean, I can't imagine eating all the little vertebrae and stuff. I just don't. Ugh.
I don't know what they do with it.
I don't either.
So I don't know. Yeah, if they're doing their job, but
it seems.
I think so.
Or maybe just So anyway,
or just their scent is keeping them away more.
Right.
So,
but they're cute.
So this week I was going back and forth on a few different topics. We were talking about this earlier a little bit, Ethne and I, and so I mean, if you're new, the premise is Ethne never knows what we're going to talk about. And I had a topic that I was trying to get working for us, and I just couldn't get a full show out of it. And so I started talking with her a little bit earlier today, and we had a brief little conversation, but her reaction was so priceless. I was like, man, that would have been good. I just don't think I could have drawn it out for a whole show.
And I was kind of like, well, even if our show was really short one time, maybe you should have done it.
No, you guys come for full length
Mike's
shows.
like, no, but it can't be that short. And I was like, well, so anyways, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
What I brought up, and we won't ever do it as a show entirely, but we'll have a fun little, 5-minute conversation here, was on McCamey Manor. Now, if you've never heard of McCamey Manor, what do you remember from what I told you earlier? I think, like, what'd you get out of it?
It's a living, not even haunted house. It's a living, real life torture house.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I don't know. That's what you described to me. And people apparently are, so it's, I don't know what you want me to say or not say. So I guess what I was told is that it started in San Diego, and due to certain things, they had to move to Tennessee.
No, they're in Tennessee now.
Tennessee. But there's like a lineup of 20,000.
That's what he claims.
20,000 people who want to do this, and it's all year round. And it's like they do 1 to 2 a week, but it's crazy
It's not
crap.
A haunted house. It's
no, it's like a torture place. Like they waterboard you. Mm-hmm. What were all the things? I don't know.
So the guy who owns his name is Russ McCamey. He started doing a traditional haunted house back in like 2006 or something like that in San Diego, like in his house. A traditional, you walk through and things jump out at you and poke at you or whatever, like very hands off, jump scares, things like that. And then it evolved into they can touch you, the actors and stuff. And it transitioned to this whole real, crazy, where people sign up, they fly out there.
They want to be tortured.
But it literally will last 6 to 8 hours is how long this will happen. Your experience will go on for. It's got a 40-page waiver you have to sign. But even in the process of signing the waiver is disgusting. Like, you're in water, they're dumping things on you, they're putting their fingers in your mouth, they're slapping you.
While you're trying to sign the waiver?
Yeah. And then they'll read it. You have to read it out loud and then sign. And
I mean, if you could see my face, I just can't understand the human race.
Yeah. No one's ever completed it.
I mean, who decides what's complete?
Well,
everyone does the same thing?
No. Well, that's what makes it so tricky. So,
honey, I really feel like you should have just done this as an episode. I feel like we could have gotten enough juice on this.
Maybe. It was so hard for me, though, because there wasn't like concrete information. It was really, my brain couldn't quite.
That's okay.
I couldn't take all the information.
I just have so many questions and
ask.
Some disdain. Well, this isn't even our episode.
That's okay.
I mean, so much disdain. Like, why would you want to experience this and be tortured? Like, my brain, obviously I'm.
Yeah. So one girl.
Naive.
Well, not one girl, lots of girls. Like, they'll shave your head sometimes. They'll shave your eyebrows. They'll shave part of your head. They'll just put random, like I said, some people will get tased. They will definitely get waterboarded. One girl, I watched an interview with her. They dunked her in a bunch of water. It was cold outside in Tennessee. Well, maybe she was in San Diego. I don't know. It gets cold in San Diego in the wintertime. Get cold enough. Got her a bunch of water and then sat her essentially in a freezer with a bunch of fans on her and just left her there. But the whole time you're also bound and gagged and duct taped.
And people want to do this. This is what I can't understand.
It's free. The entry fee is you have to bring a bag of dog food for Russ's dogs.
And the guy, I said to Mike when he was telling me about this, I'm like, this guy's a serial killer. He sits there and watches them all records it. Isn't he recording it? Recording them.
You can find tons of his videos on YouTube.
Footage, recording them doing all these mean things to these people. And these people I can't compute. Yeah. So I also feel like
they make you eat gross things.
People are idiots. Maybe. I mean, is that so offensive?
They make you eat your own vomit.
Oh,
you throw
my
up.
gosh.
They'll shovel it back in.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. This is so nasty.
Yeah. And then,
I want to know if there's anyone out there listening that would want to do this.
Yeah, not me. In the one in Tennessee, now he actually has to call the police before they start, and they give him like a heads up, like, okay, we're getting ready to start one. So if the neighbors call because they hear screaming and crazy stuff, don't worry.
And this is legal.
Well, there's a lot of ethical and moral, like, people are like, is it legal? Is it not legal? I mean, it's still going.
This is so he ran into issues doing it in California, so he had to go to someplace like Tennessee, which I don't actually know laws and anything anywhere, but I'm kind of like,
there's actually a special that might be out. If not, it's coming out for this Halloween on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, there's a special all on it. I haven't watched it.
My face.
Yeah. Your face says you don't like it.
I don't.
So like I watched this one guy, well, I guess all the time out in, to move from, it's almost like, it's not a haunted house. It's like all these different activities they can do to you. And it's always customized. You know, it's like there's the,
but you don't know what you're going to get.
And they have you feel, you have to have like a medical clearance, they say first. But they kind of prey off of your fears. Everyone does it in an adult onesie. You have to do it in an adult onesie. So they're all in like these crazy, like a Care Bear outfit or like
this is so disturbing.
But to get from place to place on the property, they literally chain your hands together and drag you behind a car, like through the grass. That's how you get from like place to place. And people will leave with legitimate like injuries, not like catastrophic injuries, but there've been a fair number of broken noses and, you know, lots of bruises and cuts. And
I'm dumbfounded. I can't. I don't even know what to say. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
And again, I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone out there listening that has this great desire to do this, but I just, why?
Essentially, they advertise it as living your own horror movie. But then they will say over and over, you don't want to do this. Like, you really don't want to do this. And then all these people come out and they're like all excited. And like, I'm going to do this. It's okay. I'm mentally strong. And then in like 4 hours, they're like, you got me. Like, I'm done. Like, for a long time, in theory, there wasn't the rumor, but there wasn't like a safe word. Now, because of legal reasons, there is like a safe word, like where you can call it yourself. It used to be you weren't done until Russ called it. But I don't know. But there's this whole other side story now where people think it's not even real. Like that the haunted house isn't even real. Mm-hmm. It's just like 2 or 3 things. And it's all just kind of a big scheme because he can edit all of it. And I don't know. It's fascinating. If you want a rabbit hole on YouTube.
McCamey Manor.
McCamey. McCamey. I think that's how you spell it.
Yeah. Just don't be the weirdo that wants to do it. That's all I have to say. I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I would worry that. Anyway. Whatever. Just, like, watching people suffer. You've got to be weird if you want to do that.
I had a hard time watching any of it. And it wasn't, I mean, you know, it's fake in the sense that these aren't really like.
Yeah, but the people are still suffering.
Right.
I mean, I know it's their own choice, but like.
And usually by the time they're done. So he always does an exit interview with them right then. Mm-hmm. But they're so dazed and out of it and just.
You'd have to be.
Yeah. I mean, literally they've been.
Tortured. It's. Ugh.
Anyways.
Okay, let's move on to it. I don't like it.
Let's go to a cheerier topic.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
When you were a kid, did you ever play any of those games like Bloody Mary or I don't know what other ones there are. I can't remember.
I mean, like trying to make yourself pass out.
No, like where you'd go like look in the mirror and say something and try to get like
board and all that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, not even a Ouija. I don't know. The only one I can think of is Bloody Mary, but I know there's other ones.
The ones with like the steam on the mirror.
Yeah. Like I can remember.
I think of the movie Carrie. I don't know why, but there's like this weird mirror scene. I think I'm traumatized. Seen Carrie in it's traumatic.
The blood.
Yeah, lots.
And the dance, but yeah, I remember living in San Antonio as a kid, doing the Bloody Mary thing with my backdoor neighbor Jordan Smith.
I know Jordan Smith.
Whoa. probably not the same person.
It's not. I know it's not.
And I don't even remember how you do it. Like say it three times or something, and then
something happened.
You're like supposed to see like a face show up in the mirror or something.
Remember. It's supposed to be scary.
Yeah. And I remember our house. We had a 2-story house. My room was the first room, and then my brother Mark's room was the second room in the hallway. And I was never allowed to go in there because he's 8 years older than me, and it was all like Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe not. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. I just remember 12-sided die and Depeche Mode posters, and The Cure, and things like that. But
Definitely
I'm pretty sure there
Depeche
was
Mode.
Dragon-y stuff in there. If not, I'm sorry to make you sound like a nerd.
Dictionaries.
Encyclopedias.
Oh, encyclopedias. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. And the bathroom was across the hall. And then I think Steve's room was there. And then at the very end was an empty room, like a bonus room. But in that room, maybe it had a closet. I don't remember. But there was a ladder up into the attic.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I can remember doing the Bloody Mary thing and then going up in the attic. And it wasn't a creepy attic. It was like insulation and
cool.
Yeah. But nothing ever happened.
I mean, it's because all of it is not real.
But you never did that?
Well, I mean, I've kind of always been the same person that I am now that I was then. So I really kind of steered clear of all that kind of stuff. I did hear about it and friends would talk about it, but I didn't really have this desire to play it. I know I remember going to a haunted house party with my friend, and she did really fun stuff. It was like dark and you had to feel things and touch things, and they made you think it was like eyeballs and guts
doing that
and
at
stuff.
like a church thing when I was like in kindergarten.
But it was like super fun. But that's like my extent of wanting to try to, be creepy. I didn't have any, like if they said that was true and there was a group of girls doing it, I would have been like, I'm just going to stay here in the bedroom. Because that's, yeah. So, but I know of it. I've
So you never saw like a creepy face in the mirror?
Nope. Dang. I can definitely freak myself out though when I'm showering.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
So Ethne will let me do whatever I want. She will watch one horror movie with me every year around Halloween. But it's not even worth it for me. And I don't even pick like bad horror movies.
They're okay. I've been good.
I mean, you've been good as far as watching them.
Yeah. You've been good about picking them.
I have been. They've been nice.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking like what have we watched recently? Like Insidious.
What's the one we watched with Powell's?
Lights Out.
Lights Out.
So they weren't like crazy. They're not like Hostel or, super gross.
Yeah.
Saws or anything like that. Anyways, so she'll watch one with me a year. But
which one are we going to watch this year?
I don't know. The problem is it's not worth it for me because then for the next 3 weeks, in the middle of the night, you're like, Mike, I have to pee. You have to come with me.
That's a bit dramatic. I have never done that to you, but I will be like, oh, I just kind of walk down the walls a little more, or down the halls a little more cautiously. When I do, I put my back to the wall sometimes, and I think about creepy crap in the shower when I'm alone, and then someone's going to kill me. I know I'm not the same.
I know.
After for a few weeks, but I've never woken you up to go pee. Have I ever?
Maybe not actually woke me up. But you definitely make me go with you, if it's nighttime and we're both
Sure, sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But it's not even fun to watch it with you because I'm like, I just feel
like you're torturing me.
Yeah, I can't even enjoy the show because you're so miserable.
I mean, it's not that bad. I am not that bad.
You're kind of that bad.
No. Mm-mm.
So
I disagree.
Anyways, have you ever heard of a tulpa? Ever heard that word?
Mm-mm. Is it Spanish?
I don't think so. I think it's actually, I don't know where.
Nope, I've never heard that word.
So tulpa is think of a creature that you would think into existence. So you think over and over about this thing.
Like a snipe?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
So if you've ever heard of Slender Man.
At the end of people's beds?
No. We'll talk about some of that next week, though.
Oh.
At the end of people's beds.
Who's Slender Man?
Slender Man. So they started off on like a Reddit kind of post.
Okay.
Creepypasta kind of thing, like stories, and then became such a giant viral kind of thing that it almost like took a life of its own. And we actually had some girls, they tried to kill another girl over Slender Man. I actually don't know if the girl survived it. I think she did. But anyways, these are like 14-year-old girls. And there's not a real tulpa. I don't know that even real tulpas exist, but this thing that, like, let's just say that all of these people across the world were thinking of Slender Man, you know, and they put so much energy into the universe that this entity actually became a real life.
Totally.
thing.
Snipe hunts are real.
The hunts are real.
Yeah, and it's
The
a
snipe
real
itself is not real.
but it is real if you go to girls camp
Yeah.
or, you know, Boy Scout camp.
Yeah. I mean, you're right.
They're very real.
Looking around for them is real. How many have you found in your life?
Well, none.
None. Yeah. So, no, a tulpa is, I think it comes from Eastern lore. Anyways. But it's kind of the same thing as with like the Bloody Marys, you know.
Thinking it into existence.
Think it into existence.
Well, I think I can like make up things in my mind. Like if I were to do Alone or Lost or whatever those things are where you're alone in the woods. Oh my goodness.
Like a
I
TV
could
show?
tulpa my whole life away.
Yeah.
Bringing things into existence that aren't really there. Every little noise, every little sound, even just me breathing. And I don't know. I could bring millions of things into existence that aren't there at all.
Sure.
So is that the same?
Well, a tulpa is not real unless you go down those roads. But think of it like, okay, you're alone in the woods and you hear noises at night. Instead of thinking like, oh, it's probably a bear or it's probably a raccoon, you start thinking, oh, it's probably
Lost spirit.
some kind of
Yeah.
mountain spirit that's, and then you think so much of it that that mountain spirit actually becomes a thing
Okay.
and then comes and kills you in your tent.
Okay. But then I'd be killing myself?
Kind of. Indirectly, I guess.
Okay.
So anyways,
Okay. I think I get it.
so
Tulpa.
tulpa.
Okay. All right.
So we're not going to talk about tulpas, but kind of in this
Vein.
vein of thinking something into existence, we're going to go to the lovely land of Canada.
Perfect. It's my home and native land.
It is your home and native
All
land.
right. Let's do it.
1972.
Okay. I was not alive.
No, you were not. There was a group led by Dr. something Owens. I didn't write his first name down.
Okay.
So Dr. Owens was a mathematical geneticist,
Okay.
which who knows what they do. I have no idea.
I mean,
I know what math is. I know what genetics are. I don't know.
You
what a mathematical
compute
geneticist does.
the probabilities of what certain genetics will be expressed or not expressed.
Sure, sounds great.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing. Okay.
Yeah, they do that.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, good job.
I
Thanks
knew
for
I was
informing all
always
of us.
right.
But he was also, so he's a legitimate academic person, you know, well versed in the scientific method and how to do experiments and stuff. But he was also part of the Toronto Parapsychological Research Group.
Cool.
And he wanted to devise, this is a real story.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to devise an experiment to see if he and a group of other skeptics, but believers, if that makes sense,
Okay.
could conjure up a ghost.
Okay. Conjure meaning create.
Bring to life. A
Bring
ghost.
to life. Yes.
Kind of with the thought being, are ghosts real? If they are real, you know, everyone assumes they're dead people. But maybe these are not dead people. Maybe what people are experiencing is a collective power of the mind that we don't yet understand. And so he wanted to do an experiment to see if they could create a physical manifestation of a ghost.
All right.
Do you think you could create a ghost?
Not a real one, but in my mind, I can freak myself out. But that's all I could really do.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I think that is the, oh gosh, like
I mean, the power, the suggestive
power of the
of
mind.
is
Yes,
very
that's kind of what I was
powerful,
trying
very
to say.
strong, right?
Mhm. Extremely powerful
Right.
for whether if that's good or for bad, you know.
So the way he designed this was he took a group of 8 people. Like I said, all of them skeptics, but willing to believe.
Okay.
How about that? And to try to communicate with a ghost, create this ghost, they wanted to make a 100% fake person.
Okay.
Because let's say you did a historical person, and let's say you got results, then you wouldn't know if you actually were talking to a dead person or if you had made this up. But if you made up a person and then that person spoke with you or appeared to you, you would know, okay, well, this isn't actually a real person that ever lived. This is just our story.
Huh. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's an interesting methodology.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So they did just that. They made up a story of a man named Philip.
All right. I have a cousin named Philip.
All right. This probably isn't the same Philip either.
Probably not.
So this is, they came up with a really creative name for their experiment, and it's called the Philip experiment.
It's very creative. Extremely.
So Philip, this is the backstory they made up for Philip. He was a British nobleman who lived in the 1500s in Diddington Hall with his beautiful wife, Dorothea. Now, Dorothea was beautiful, but she was very cold. They didn't have a good relationship, as was probably often the times back in the 1500s. So one day, Philip was riding along his property when he came across a gypsy camp. And there in the gypsy camp was a young girl named Margot. And he instantly fell in love with Margot. And I'm going to assume Margot fell in love with him back. Or he was some kind of like kidnapper. Because he brought her back with him. And he set her up in one of like the cottages on the property. And
they had a relationship.
Correct. Now, eventually Dorothea found out. And she was not happy. And so to get back at Margot and to solve her problem, she accused Margot of witchcraft. And Margot was burnt at the stake. Because Philip would not stand up for her. Because he didn't want to lose his, status and esteem and admit to this affair. So, she died. He felt really, really bad. And one night he throws himself off of his castle and dies. And that's the story of Philip.
Okay.
Now that story is 100% fake.
Okay.
There is no Philip. But that was the story. And so what they did is they got together once a week for a couple hours and they would just kind of meditate and try to reach out to Philip and think and call into the ether for him to come and communicate.
Did they have like a description of this Philip?
Not that I ever
Not
read.
that you ever saw? Okay. That would be important for me if I was a part of this
You would
experiment.
think that's actually a really good point. You would think you would, especially if you're trying to conjure up a physical manifestation.
Yeah, I would for surely need that.
Want to know, like, was he chubby? Was he skinny? Did he have a beard? Was he a redhead? All the things.
All the things.
That makes sense. I did not ever come across that.
Okay.
Maybe that was the problem with their experiment.
Or maybe their experiment works.
Maybe. So they do this for a couple hours a week.
Seems like a boring thing to do.
Yeah. And
I'm just trying to imagine if I was a part of this group. Like, what would I be doing to conjure him?
There's no way you could ever be part of this group because you couldn't sit there and waste like 2 hours of your week.
I mean, if they're going to pay me to do it, maybe I could.
I don't think they haven't got paid.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Did I tell you how many people were in the group?
8.
8. Okay, yeah. So there are 4 men, 4 women.
But I mean, I
lay
wonder,
people.
what are we doing? Are we humming? Are we chanting? Are we?
Yeah, so I never really could find the details other than they were trying to, I think there was a lot of interpretive dance.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, to conjure a spirit, you need to be waving your arms and doing the dance. I don't know. Doesn't that feel right to everybody else?
It feels good, yeah. I mean, that's definitely how I would try to conjure a spirit. Like the grandma from The Proposal.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. I love that movie. My kids love that movie.
They do.
We need to watch it again. Oh, gosh.
The Baby Maker.
If any of you have not seen that movie, The Proposal, you have to watch it. It's the best. Okay.
It's pretty funny.
It's great.
So they did this for a whole year.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what kind of results do you think they got?
I mean, I'm assuming they got nowhere.
They had nothing.
Okay. Thank you.
A year, every week, for a couple hours, trying to reach out to Philip.
The conjuring did not work.
Didn't work. And so they stopped.
Okay.
And ghosts aren't real.
All right. Sounds good.
All righty, everyone. No, so what they did is they decided we got to change up our methodology here a little bit. So let's start making it, let's try something different. Let's kind of create more of a seance environment.
Which, if you've never been a part of a seance, you might need to know what that looks like.
Yeah, what does that look like, Ethne?
I have no idea.
Well, you just watched The Haunted Mansion. What does that seance look like?
Well, they kind of have their hands all connected and they're around a
So
table.
they dim the lights.
And they have candles. And they have Madame Mim or whatever her name is.
Yeah. I don't know what her name is there.
And Madame Leota.
Yeah.
And
and that is...
like you need a ball, like a crystal ball, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if you need a crystal
How
ball.
about a lava lamp?
A lava lamp would definitely do the trick.
Okay.
So it's interesting you say, so most seances traditionally do have a medium, someone who proclaims to have psychic powers, the ability to speak with the dead, astral project, something along those lines. So they actually wanted to make sure that they didn't have a medium.
Okay.
None of these 8 people claimed to have any special powers.
Right.
They were just regular people off the street who had a curiosity in this thing.
Okay.
Because again, they're trying not to conjure a real ghost. They're trying to
make up a ghost.
And they want it to become a real ghost, quote unquote. But they're not trying to conjure a dead person.
Okay.
They're trying to see if this is some part of physics that we don't understand.
Don't you feel like people have too much time on their hands to do that for a whole year?
Yeah. That's a big commitment.
That's a huge commitment. I can't even handle it. Okay, keep going.
So they make it more seance-y.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Yep.
Dimming lights, bringing
all the
candles,
things.
holding hands.
And they do that for a whole nother year?
So they start doing that way. And within 4 sessions, so within the first month, they start having things happen as they go about this. So they start having taps on the table. Now they're using a card table. And so they start getting responses to things they ask. They start hearing scratches. They start hearing voices, like whispers around the room. So they devise this system where they can talk to Philip via knocks. So 1 knock means yes, 2 knocks means no. Kind of like you see in the movies and stuff. And they start asking these questions, and he really starts coming to life. They're getting this response all of a sudden from, we presume, Philip. But the answers match the fake story that they've made up. So they could ask, like, Philip,
are you from England?
Right. And they'd get the, 1. Philip, was your wife's name Mary, 2 for no. But it followed, like, actually what they had made up. So they're all super excited about this, right?
Okay.
Questions?
No questions, just some thoughts.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I think it gets a little too spiritual.
In what sense?
Well, so I believe that there are evil spirits.
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
And I believe that those evil spirits, if you try to welcome them, will take advantage of you welcoming them.
Gotcha. So you think maybe they're like opening a door to something?
Sure. That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's too spiritual or not.
No, it's a good thought. And we're going to kind of talk about some, potential theories here in a little bit. But that's, yeah, I mean, there can only be so many things, right?
Right.
Going on.
Mm-hmm.
So the more comfortable they get with this, the more reaction they get out of it.
Okay.
It's like they come to expect he's going to respond, and he does. Well, then it gets to the point where you start getting bigger physical manifestations, like the table will move. The table will tilt. The table will actually lift up like on one side and...
Weird. It's like Nick Norton's little thing.
Yeah. There's a magician here.
Yeah, the flying table.
Yeah. The knocking would get so progressively bad that they would have to actually change out the card tables because they were getting beat up. At one point, they have a much more solid, like wooden table, and they can still get it to essentially levitate. The interesting thing is they were actually on multiple national TV shows. When you can go on YouTube, you can go find about 20, 25 minutes of footage out there of this group. And you can hear the knocks and you can see the table move, and it's really fascinating. So they go on and do this for another 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they do it in front of lots of different people. Like they do it on national television.
They actually do the seancing? Okay.
Lots of people come in and see them doing it, see the table moving, see all those kind of things. But at the end of 4 years, Dr. Owens stops the experiment because even though they've had lots of success, he kind of deems it a failure because they never could get the physical manifestation, which was the original point of all of it. They can never create a ghost, this thing that shows up in ectoplasm or whatever, and appears to them. So they stop that's the end of the experiment. Dr. Owens does go on and do a few other similar experiments throughout his career where he said, where he can replicate some of the things he says, but never can get that manifestation.
Okay.
And so that there have been a few others who have tried to mimic his experiments with pretty limited success, like not much really going on.
Okay.
So the question is, what's happening here?
I mean, are you asking me this question?
Well, I mean, I would ask you your question, but you just told me what, you're possibly thinking here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there can only be so many things going on, right?
Right.
First and foremost, it could be a total hoax.
Yeah, it could be for sure.
You could have everybody in on it. Now they all claim they're not.
Right.
Even afterwards, none of them ever any money on it. There's a lot of time to put into that if you're not getting any money or notoriety from it.
I feel like
that's 5 years of your life.
Be just a special breed of human to be in this group.
It's funny you say that. So the lady who made up the story of Philip, his backstory, was the former president of Mensa, Canada. Have you ever heard of Mensa? So Mensa, and I think some of the other members were also members of Mensa. So Mensa is an organization for like extremely gifted people. And they get together and they solve puzzles.
Like so intense.
Yeah, not like kittens on a picture kind of puzzle, but they will make up like these crazy elaborate,
Cool.
I don't know what other words called besides puzzles.
I understand.
Yeah. And then solve them.
Mm.
And we might do a story on Mensa one day. Interesting thing that happened with one of the groups there.
You shouldn't tell me.
I won't tell you anything besides that. But like, I don't think you and I could even figure out like the application to get into Mensa.
I'm sure.
Like our IQs aren't high enough to understand.
That's probably why I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm normal. No, I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as normal, but because I'm average.
Yeah. But anyway, so at least one, if not more of these people were in Mensa. So they were very, very intelligent on paper. People.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a hoax. You could also have one of them committing a hoax and not telling the others.
That's true.
And when you have a group that is a part of the design of the experiment is that you want to believe, then that plays into
the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The potential of a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, lots of people watched them. Lots of people participated, and no one ever could figure out, there was a hoax going on here. There were some famous sisters back, I think, in the 1800s. Oh, I can't think of their last name. Maybe the Rose sisters that were big into seances, and they would like travel and do seances. And
yeah, I think you can tap into the power if you allow yourself.
Yeah, and
the power of the dark side.
The dark side.
Yeah.
Lord Vader.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. It's all Vader. The dark side is Vader.
Yeah. It's like the greatest villain of all time. It's too bad
that they're
butchering him. Anyways, so then, like you said, maybe what they're doing is maybe they're opening the door for some other spirit.
Mm-hmm.
If spirits exist, that's coming in and taking the role and playing along. So that's a possibility. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, nothing bad ever happened to any of them, reportedly. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like it followed them home and then all of a sudden they go out in their, living room one night and all their chairs are stacked and the fridge is open and eggs are flying out of it or some poltergeisty things going on in their lives.
That would be weird.
That would be really creepy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Another one, maybe there really is something to mind power.
Right. That's another one that I thought about.
Yeah.
I mean, the power of your mind is incredibly for 5 years. Yeah. Like this can become your truth. If you tell, yourself certain things day in and day out, I think your brain will actually end up believing them. And that end up being your truth this term. So maybe they willed it to be.
Could you will something into a physical manifestation? Like they always say, like, where there's a will, there's a way. Or if you put your mind to it, eventually it'll happen, And I'm definitely 1,000% a proponent of that. Like, I really do believe that if you want something in life bad enough and you mentally go through it enough, that mentality will change your physical actions in life and will get you to that place.
All of that.
But could you take it to a step farther?
I don't think so.
There's this ethereal bridge that...
No. Not in my belief system, no.
What about like telekinesis or, like mind powers? Could I move your phone over there with my mind?
No. Again, I think you would be tapping into a dark magic that then is working. Nope. Like working with your mind to help you move it.
You're saying like your mind isn't moving it. You're tapping into some other dark energy. That's what's moving it. Gotcha.
Like a dark spirit like moves your phone because you are like in touch with. It's like when you sell your soul to the devil kind of thing.
Yeah, which is a fascinating concept.
And you kind of I think of like the Princess and the Frog and that guy. But when you do, welcome in bad stuff, then he like owns your soul or whatever he says. I can't remember the dark guy, It's been a long time since I've seen it. I kind of feel like you are tapping into something that is bigger and out there, but doesn't have, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
have the ability to do good things. It doesn't really, it doesn't just have to be like a terrible thing, like moving your phone with your mind, but it's thinking that you have this power, making you think that you have this power that you don't have.
I wish I had a phone moving mind power.
Yeah, we all want to be a Darth Vader and just like stick your hand up and kill people.
I don't have any desire to kill anybody.
Well, control people, the mind, you will go.
I just want it to like make chicken nuggets and stuff without having to get up.
If you seek power, it will keep going, Michael. It will start with chicken nuggets and it will end with minions.
Like watching Minions?
Nope. Oh. Controlling them.
Well, they're really cute.
They are really cute.
I could use a Kevin.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. These answers are so...
So obviously, deep. Something happened for many years. Mm-hmm. So one interesting thing as well, have you heard of Michael Faraday?
I feel like that's familiar.
I think it's Michael. Definitely Faraday. Faraday cages. He was an English scientist in the early 1800s, mid 1800s, that did a ton of really good work.
What kind of work?
Electricity, mostly.
Okay.
He developed the process of electrolysis, like stripping down chemical components to their bases using electricity. He was the one who kind of found you could put a magnet. Oh man, my physics is so long ago and not good. But anyways, you can get a current to conduct if you wave a magnet by a wire or something like that. It's the basis of modern electric vehicles.
Okay.
Like the electric motor.
Okay.
It's all his stuff. But he was really a fascinating guy because he didn't know how to do math. Mm. And so he would come up with these crazy ideas and he would do these experiments and be like, look, this happens. And then the scientific world would kind of make fun of him and be like, well, what's the math that shows it's happening? He's like, I don't know. I can't do that.
Right.
But look, it's happening and I can do it over and over and over again. And it wasn't until later, actually, people came along who could do the calculus and stuff and come up with equations to prove his things. Anyways, long story short, he developed a method to test whether seances were real or not, where he would take a table and then he would put glass rods on the table and then he would put a piece of wood on top of that. And then you would put your hands on top of that wood as if you were touching the table. And he found that there was a thing called, come on, Mikey, use your brain.
Is it in your notes?
No.
No.
But it's in my mental notes. Is it idiomotor? Idiopathic. Yeah. Anyways, I think it's idiomotor. This response where people would move it, but they wouldn't even subconsciously, like they weren't even knowing they were the ones moving the table. And the way his experiment worked is, okay, well, if there's some external stimulus that's moving the table, then the whole table with the glass rods and the wood will all move in conjunction with each other. But if you and I are moving it, then that piece of wood on top will just roll with the glass rods and the table itself won't move. And so he found a lot of people, when you do this, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it is me moving it, even though I have no consciousness of doing that.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people explain like Ouija boards too. How
that makes sense.
You don't know you're doing it.
Your subconscious.
Your subconscious is, especially the more people you add, the more that works. I heard one person talking about how, in researching this, if you wear a blindfold while doing a Ouija board, all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore.
Interesting.
The magical spirit
Doesn't
doesn't like that you can't see the board. You have to be able to see it to move it. Even if you don't know you are.
Right. Interesting.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
So, could they be doing that? Sure. But they did also do side things. I can't think of the word. For example, sometimes they would put doilies under their fingers when they touch the table. So that, if they were moving it, the doily would move, but the table wouldn't move. As kind of like a safety measure to prove that it wasn't them doing it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in theory, think of if you put a piece of paper on a table and you try to move the table, you're just going to move the paper. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's fascinating. There's lots of these things in the world that, the vast majority probably aren't real. But you only need one to be real to prove that it could be real.
Yeah, I guess so.
So the Philip experiment is an interesting one because you don't know. They had a lot of really, really weird results.
Yeah.
And a lot of people seeing the weird results. Now, with that being said, you and I have we have a little amusement park here. Well, it's the biggest amusement park in the Pacific Northwest. But it's not very big compared to, Disneyland
some other
and
ones.
Stuff. Phenomenal magician.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. He's won lots of awards, all sorts of things. We've seen that show how many times?
So many.
And it still blows us away every time.
Yeah, it does.
And you know perfectly well it's not real. It's...
Yeah, but I can't figure it out.
Can't figure it out either. So there's things like that in the world too, just because you see something doesn't mean...
Exactly.
your physical senses betray you all the time.
Right.
So, I don't know.
That's true.
It is weird. And they never could get the actual ghost to show up.
Well, maybe they needed to give him a physical description. I feel like that's where they first went wrong.
Messed up from the very
They should have had
get-go.
me a part of their experiment.
Well, you weren't alive.
I know.
But now.
Well,
you want to try it for the next 4 years, 5 years?
No, I don't. Oh, gosh. But there's somebody out there that does want to try it, honey. I know it.
I think everyone listening should go and try to conjure up a ghost.
Give us their
and
backstory, but he has to, he or she has to have a physical description.
So grab a couple of your friends, come up with a really cool backstory.
Start seancing.
Make sure they have a physical description. Skip the whole meditation thing. Go straight to the seance.
And
then just let us know what happens.
Yeah.
And hopefully within 5 years, you get a physical manifestation of a ghost.
Yes. Just let us know if you're starting. And then when you've captured all your results, let us know when you're done.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
Sounds good.
Will we be here?
In
5 years?
We'll be here. We'll have to be doing this or not. But we'll be here.
That's true.
So, alrighty, everybody. Go look up the Philip experiment if you want.
The Philip experiment.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's not much on it out there. The wiki page is a paragraph. So
right.
You got to dig a little deeper, but there's some good info out there. If you want to get a hold of us, you can reach out on Instagram, Facebook, email us, strangerspecies@gmail.com. Share the podcast with your friends. And we will be back next week. Last time before Halloween, right? What's the date today? No? Yeah. It will be.
Will be? Halloween is on a Tuesday. So, no.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Just kidding. The one that comes out on Halloween.
Yeah.
We will talk about.
I don't know. Don't say it.
Stuff. But next week, now I got to come up with what we're going to talk about because we're going to do that. But now I realize there's an extra week in there. Well, that's okay. So everyone have a wonderful week. And we will catch you next time around.
On the flip side.
Alrighty. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.